selling lows, is you like that? All 24, you on.
What's all this?
This was intended as the main... gathering space for control center operatives.
You could fit a good number of people in here.
Or maybe just a few. To start with, you two go ahead. I'm going to poke around a bit. What's this space for?
This would have been the sleeping quarters for control center operatives.
Reminds me of the bedhouse aspirants had to sleep in the night before the coup.
This would have been an access point for advanced training modules on terraforming operations. Unfortunately,
So this was supposed to be a lab.
that was its intended purpose. Some of the machine data you recovered from the repair bay below us appears to be corrupted. Accessing the terminal in this room will show you how to repair and complete the override.
I'll take a look. Huh. Looks like I need data from machine parts to fix the corrupted override.
My initialization is complete. You may continue to explore the facility, Aloy. When you are ready, return to the control room. We have much to discuss. That door leads to the west exit. But before you leave, we have much to discuss.
Right.
What's all this stuff for?
This facility was designed to process an immense amount of data from the terraforming system. This is where it would have been stored.
Oh, I've been down here before. That's where I first got into the facility. Okay. Maybe it's time to talk to Gaia.
I'll leave you to it. Back already?
I might want to look around more first.
I'll come with you then.
So this place was here all this time. Built for people who would never show up.
Why didn't they?
Remember that guy I told you about? Ted Faro? It wasn't supposed to be this way. Looks like some kind of storage room. Hey, Gaia? Why doesn't this door have power?
At my current operating level, I am only able to restore functionality to part of this facility. In time, that may change.
Got it.
Guess I'll wait here.
Do that over now. But I should keep an eye out for any data in their facility that can help. I guess I should go back.
there you are. Should we keep looking around?
Getting back in that way.
Hello, Aloy.
Hi.
Yes. All tests show that my heuristic matrix launched. You must have many questions.
Yeah. But we're not gonna be able to fix the biosphere without making you whole. I ran a search for your subfunctions at the Hades Proving Lab, but Minerva was the only one I found.
Thankfully, the sensory capabilities of this facility are far more advanced. I will search for the others now. Transmitting query pattern. Receiving. Of Apollo, Artemis, and Eleuthia, I can find no trace. They are simply gone.
What about the others?
Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon are revealed. They lie within reach, procurable.
And Hephaestus?
It too stands revealed, but it is not like the others.
That's for sure.
In the years since the extinction signal, Hephaestus has evolved. Moreover, it is not confined to a single location. It haunts the global network that connects cauldrons to each other across the planet, making it exceptionally difficult to subdue.
Let me guess. We need it bad?
Correct. Its capabilities are essential. Without it, I can only delay the extinction of life on Earth. Hephaestus is our only hope of a permanent solution.
So we start there?
Unfortunately, we cannot. Procuring Hephaestus can only be attempted after my own capabilities have been significantly enhanced.
Grab the other subordinate functions first, then Hephaestus.
Precisely so.
So, Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon. How do I capture them?
To recover a subordinate function, you will have to travel to its location and find the physical processor to which it escaped. Then, exactly as you did with Minerva, you must use the master override to revert the subordinate function to its original code state.
And then how do I get it back here?
The subordinate function must be loaded onto a data storage device and physically carried back to this facility.
The cartridge your root kernel was stored on?
Yes. Its capacity is limited, so it can only carry one subordinate function at a time. But in all other respects, it will suffice.
Maybe you can help me make sense of something. A while ago, I had a run-in with a group of strangers. They had machine servitors and
Yes, this was recorded by your focus.
Do you know who they are?
The answer to that question is related to the extinction signal that woke Hades, prompting my predecessor's self-destruction.
The extinction signal? Okay, that sounds ominous.
The signal did not come from Earth, Aloy. The calculations are complicated, but it appears to have originated 81 trillion kilometers away. A distance so vast that light itself requires 8.611 years to cross it.
Okay, so what's so far away and why does it want us dead?
The Sirius star system.
Sirius? But that's where Far Zenith, their ship.
The Odyssey.
Yes, that's where it was headed. But it blew up. Unless... I don't... Why make it seem like they failed? They didn't want anyone to know. They didn't want future humans to think that they were out there. Wait. The strangers who tried to kill me at the Hades Proving Lab? The ones with the clone? Are you saying that they're from... that they're descendants of... Far Zenith?
Yes, that is my conclusion.
3 subordinate functions that you detected. What do we know about them?
All 3 are relevant to problems currently plaguing the biosphere. Ether is responsible for detoxifying the atmosphere and moderating the weather. Poseidon controls the organic and chemical composition of water resources. Demeter sows, fertilizes, and tends to plant life. If all 3 were restored to me, they would constitute a massive increase to my heuristic processing density. But beware. Their responses to my query pattern were irregular. In human terms, they are frightened, lost, and paranoid.
Like Minerva. They need to be whole again.
Exactly.
The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded the Earth with a variety of animal species. Eleuthia was responsible for gestating, nurturing, and acculturating a new generation of human beings. Apollo was tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives of human knowledge and cultural achievements. Unfortunately, all archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February, 2066, by order of Ted Faro.
Pharaoh, huh? I really hate that guy.
Understandable. He appears to have been pathologically narcissistic, impulsive, and unstable.
All 3 of the missing functions have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
If attainable, yes. Restoring their remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density. Unfortunately, I have no way to track them. They have disappeared without a trace.
You said you need Hephaestus to save life from extinction. Why?
Every subordinate function has value, but Hephaestus is by far the most important. Only by recovering and merging it can I regain my ability to design and mass-produce new machines at cauldrons across the planet. Only through it can I program new machines and alter the tasking of existing machines to completely reverse environmental damage. Recovering other subordinate functions may buy us time, but without Hephaestus, I cannot permanently stave off mass extinction.
Given Hephaestus' importance, is there really no way to capture and merge it first?
I'm afraid that is quite impossible. In my present state, launched and merged with Minerva, I am operating at less than 1/5, 18.8% of my intended processing capacity. Hephaestus dwarfs this figure. Were an attempt made to conduct the merge under these circumstances, Hephaestus would absorb me rather than the other way around. A merge cannot be attempted until my heuristic processing density exceeds its own.
And how many subordinate functions is that going to take?
Merging Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon will expand my heuristic network to 41.6% capacity, exceeding that of Hephaestus.
You said Hephaestus isn't located in just one place.
Correct. Unlike the other subordinate functions, which are confined to discrete physical processors, Hephaestus is distributed throughout the global network that connects the planet's cauldrons.
So, when the time comes to subdue it, how do we make that happen?
I do not know. While you are retrieving the procurable subordinate functions, I will attempt to find a solution.
So, once Hephaestus has been recovered and merged, you'll regain the capacity to mass-produce machines at cauldrons around the world.
Yes, and to program their behavioral routines, or even control them directly.
So could you build an army of machines? Attack the descendants of Far Zenith and take them out?
It is in my nature to take any and all necessary steps to preserve life on Earth, human life above all. So yes, once I have been empowered with the capacities of Hephaestus, I could design, build, and command such an army. Given the nature of the Far Zenith threat, doing so may be our only option. I must admit, however, that I have misgivings about using such technology to kill, no matter how aggressive the enemy.
That's good. It means you have conscience. As Elizabeth intended.
Indeed.
How did you figure out that the extinction signal came from Sirius?
The key came with data on your focus, from Silent's interrogation of Hades. The duration of the signal itself, 17.22 years.
That doesn't make sense. You said that the signal took 8.6 years to arrive from Sirius. Why would the signal keep transmitting after it was received and you blew yourself up?
Because the sender didn't know that had happened until it received notice from Hades.
Which would take another 8.6 years to get back.
Correct. Only then would the sender stop broadcasting after a total of 17.22 years. So the duration, halved, gave me the distance the signal traveled. With that in mind, I simply scanned my astronomical database for any relevant location 8.6 light-years away. Because it was Far Zenith's intended destination, Sirius was the only logical source.
How did you figure out that the extinction...
The key from
Why... Which would...
correct. So the duration... With that, I simply... Because Sirius...
How did you figure...
The key from
Why...
Which correct. So the with that in mind, I simply... Because it was Far Zenith, Sirius was...
So if the descendants came to Earth on a spaceship, I guess we can assume that their technology is powerful in all sorts of ways, right?
Yes. As your encounter with them at the Proving Lab amply demonstrates, they appear to make extensive use of robotic servitors. Further, they seem to be equipped with some kind of protective energy field that shields them from harm.
Yeah, no kidding. The one I fought seemed indestructible.
Throughout history, every defensive technology has eventually been defeated by an offensive counterpart. For example, assuming I absorbed Hephaestus and utilized it to create a large force of combat machines. No shielding could withstand such an assault indefinitely.
So there's hope.
Always.
The extinction signal didn't just wake Hades. It made every subordinate function self-aware. Why?
I have wondered this myself. So far as I can tell, Hades was the sole target, and the partial sentience imparted to other subordinate functions was incidental.
So the signal could only have been sent by someone who had thorough knowledge of the system, huh?
Yes. The signal's design was exceptionally precise and highly advanced. Were its intentions less malevolent, I would admire the intellect or intellects that produced it.
The descendants I ran into at the Hades Proving Lab, they had a clone of Elizabeth Sobek. So that's consistent with the idea that they came here to salvage Zero Dawn technologies, right?
Yes. As your own experience demonstrates, a clone of Elizabeth Sobek functions in effect as a key to the terraforming system.
But how could they have made a clone?
The Odyssey carried approximately 200,000 human zygotes, millions of animal zygotes, and billions of plant seeds. It is conceivable that Elizabeth Sobek's genetic material was sampled, with or without her knowledge, and carried aboard the ship in storage.
That's... okay, but... I mean... This clone... How could she participate in this? Destroying Elizabeth's dream? It's evil.
It is difficult to know. Perhaps she is loyal to the group and shares their objectives. Or perhaps she is a subordinate and has no choice but to comply with their orders.
Elizabeth Sobek, a subordinate? I don't think so. The sole purpose of the signal was to destroy life on Earth, right? Why would descendants of Far Zenith want to do that?
At this point, we can only speculate.
I mean, Earth posed no threat to them. We don't have the technology to get in their way. We didn't even know about them.
True.
Unless... well... could it be that they want the planet for themselves? The strangers I ran into, they were after a Gaia backup of their own. I mean, if they did that... if they booted their own Gaia and boosted her power, until she could take control of Hephaestus, and then the whole terraforming system...
then yes, the system could be used to do what the extinction signal failed to accomplish. Snuff out life, and then potentially to build an entirely new biosphere, to their specifications.
So they could be trying to do the same thing we are.
But with opposite results.
Extinction, instead of salvation. Well, this is not good. What is the state of the biosphere? Is the terraforming system functioning at all?
In a sense, the terraforming system never stopped functioning. The difference, since my predecessor's destruction, is that there has been no central governing intelligence to monitor its robotic agents and assign new tasks. As a result, errors have accrued, and day by day, the biosphere has gradually veered ever more sharply towards destruction. In recent months, disturbances in the biosphere have become obvious. But these bellwether phenomena offer just the merest glimpse of the complex and accelerating cycles of environmental dysfunction, now driving Earth's biosphere towards collapse.
And you can't do anything to stop it?
If you can return Ether, Poseidon, and Demeter to me, I can improvise modest corrections to parts of the system. Weather will improve, water will be purified, and rampant plant growth curtailed. But such corrections will not stave off collapse. They will only buy us time. Only with Hephaestus can I design and produce new robotic agents designed to permanently reverse the damage that has accumulated. All efforts must be directed toward that end.
You said Sirius is really far from Earth.
81 trillion kilometers, or 8.611 light years.
Right. So, how would the descendants have gotten here?
On a spacecraft much like the Odyssey, though significantly more advanced. The journey from Earth to Sirius would have taken the Odyssey almost 300 years. This appears to have been much faster. If their ship departed Sirius at the same moment the extinction signal first began transmitting, the journey was made in just 29 years at an average of 0.297 the speed of light. If they did not set out for Earth until they learned of the extinction signal's failure, the journey was even faster, a mere 13 years, or 0.662 the speed of light.
Okay, enough. You're making my head spin. How long do we have then?
At present rates, without additional factors, the biosphere will cross a point of no return in approximately 4 months.
And if I gather Ether, Demeter, Poseidon, merge you with them?
We will only gain a few months more.
Well, every bit counts. I guess I should get going and start bringing back subordinate functions. What can you tell me about their locations?
When my predecessor destroyed herself, the subordinate functions sought physical processors capable of holding them. So in each case, you will be looking for a powerful computer of some kind. Ether is the closest, and therefore might be the easiest to acquire. However, it appears to be in the middle of Tanakh territory. My knowledge of that tribe is limited to data I read on your focus, but they seem to have a significant inclination towards violence.
Well, that's a nice way to put it. What about Poseidon and Demeter?
Poseidon has taken shelter in the desert south of this location. My substratal geography data indicates that a major old-world settlement called Las Vegas was located there.
A ruin in the middle of the desert, huh? Strange place for an AI devoted to water.
Agreed. As for Demeter, it appears to be located on the coast to the far west. Unfortunately, I am unable to provide any relevant data about the region. As such, it may be the most difficult to retrieve.
Okay, so 3 subordinate functions to go after. Ether, somewhere in Tanakh territory. Poseidon in the desert, and Demeter on the coast.
Where will you begin?
I think I'll head for Ether.
Then I will assign Ether as the objective on your focus. If you obtain it, I may be able to use it to quell the most severe storms in the region. Though I will require Hephaestus and the control over machines that it offers to permanently stabilize the biosphere. Should you change your mind, you can update your objective via your focus interface at any time. I will also transmit a summary of available data on all of the subordinate functions to you for reference. Is there anything else I can help you with? I know you have a great deal to accomplish.
I do, don't I?
Is something wrong?
I don't know. It's just that Elizabeth set the bar pretty high. She had a dream for you, for life on Earth, and a lot has gone wrong, and it's all on my shoulders to fix it. Do you think I can do it all? Repair the system, defeat Far Zenith, live up to her example?
Absolutely. In her last message, my predecessor declared her unwavering conviction in your success. In you, all things are possible. You prevailed in purging Hades and rebooting my system core. You will prevail in this.
Thank you, Gaia. Well, I guess I should get going.
I have unlocked the facility's exits. One leads onward to the west. The other leads back down the mountain to Plainsong, should you wish to return east.
Varl?
Whoa! Gonna have to get used to that. That you, Aloy?
Yeah. Gaia's opened the exits to this place. Can you and Zoe meet me by the west door?
Be right there.
Gaia? What is this?
It is a control console for a drone-based imaging system connected to this dome. I will transmit the relevant data to your focus.
So this Cyclops is a network of drones to monitor the deteriorating biosphere conditions. I guess it was meant to display on the dome, but the drones aren't connected anymore. If I find the drones out in the wilds, I could get the data from them, use it to reconnect them and restore the display. need to bring Ether back for Gaia. Varl and Zoe are waiting for me by the west exit. But I could head back east first. Check on how Plainsong's doing after the attack. Or I could also look around here somewhere. Door's locked. Maybe Gaia will be able to get it open later.
Are you sure?
Yes. I think it'll be better this way.
After you, Aloy.
I need to head further west. To, get more of Gaia's components. Make her stronger. You two can stay here in the meantime. Gaia can help get you up. To speed. I'm not trying to shut you out. It's like training.
Actually, I'm gonna go back east to get Erend. Bring him here. Look, allies, friends can help. We have a place to stay now. And like you said, Gaia can teach us, catch us up. It'll be okay.
Okay. Take these then.
One to wear, one for backup.
Are you going with him?
No. After what happened in the cave below, I want to stay here a while. There is much I need to understand. Maybe by the time you get back, I'll have a thing or two I can teach you.
Looking forward to it. When will you be back?
I'm not sure. But hopefully I'll have one of Gaia's missing components with me.
Be careful out there. Even in Plainsong, we heard how the Tenakth clanlands are suffering from storms, machines, and now Regalla.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Good hunting, Aloy.
The Tenakth clanlands. Somewhere out there's 3 of Gaia's sub-functions. And who knows what else.
Aloy,
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. You sure you're okay?
I have Gaia. And learning how to interpret.
Have you gone back to Plainsong at all?
I thought about it. But the chorus already thinks me a thorn in the thick. If they knew what we did to Fa, even if they understood, there'd be little they could grasp about all this. No. For now, I must leave.
Did Gaia tell you anything about Zenith?
She did, though it wasn't exactly easy to believe. To think that there are places among the stars where life can bloom as it does here. It is humbling, to say the least, and heartbreaking that such life should be bent on destroying ours.
So, how does a tribe like the Utaru manage to maintain the peace with warriors like the Tenakth?
By holding them off. When our fields bloomed aplenty, the Tenakth looked upon our lands with envy. But Plainsong's dishes provided sanctuary and high ground to keep invaders at bay. In the end, even the Tenakth saw sense in a truce. The Utaru promised to provide the Tenakth with food from our crops every year. In exchange, the Tenakth would relinquish one of their own, a veteran, to train the Utaru in combat. This custom was abandoned a few years after the derangement. But some veterans still remain in the plains.
I've been meaning to ask, what's the deal with you and the chorus? You didn't seem to be on the best of terms.
That's what happens when you're the one Utaru who insists on publicly defying them. Twice. When the Karja invaded the Utaru plains, they did more than just attack our villages. They burned our fields, took our people as slaves, and murdered those who were too weak to make the trip back to Meridian.
To be sacrificed in the sun ring.
I was helping the healers back then, as waves of refugees swarmed into Plainsong. The chorus was divided in how to face the invaders. Some saw sense in raising arms. Others believed the dishes would keep us safe, as they had many times before. And while they bickered, I buried the seeds of the fallen.
It couldn't have been easy. Seeing your people suffer while the Karja invaded your lands.
I come from a small village near Plainsong. My grandmother used to say there was no seed that wouldn't grow there. I moved to the dishes when I decided to apprentice as a healer. When the Red Raids began, I thought about going back. But the injured kept pouring into Plainsong, day after day. So I kept putting it off. One day, I woke up to hear a Karja raiding party had ransacked my village during the night. I rushed there with the healers to help the survivors, but there weren't any left. The smell of burning flesh haunts me to this day.
I'm sorry, Zoe.
I made it a point to appear before the chorus as soon as we returned, to demand that we take a stand against the invaders. I was denied. So I left to fight on my own.
You said you set out to fight the Karja alone?
I did. But it turned out I wasn't the only one. News of my disagreement with the chorus spread through the plains. Before I knew it, I had more than a dozen Utaru warriors ready to follow me into battle. We knew we couldn't take on the Karja armies head-on, but we also knew the lay of the land better than they did. We ambushed smaller raiding parties, sabotage their supply lines, and hit their encampments at night.
Sounds like you were a force to be reckoned with.
Enough that the Tenakth took notice. When the clans began to push the Karja back east, they let us join their ranks. We chased the enemy all the way to Barren Light.
You said you were at Barren Light when the Tenakth defeated the Karja?
Tenakth marshals climbed the cliffs of the Daunt under cover of night, then attacked from the other side. Before we knew it, the gates were open, and the full force of the clans burst through. What happened next was not something I like to remember. When all the dust and blood settled, I smelled it again. The stench of burnt flesh. Our enemies defeated. What was left of my squad returned to the Utaru Plains. I went back to Plainsong. But even as the harvest passed, it didn't feel like I'd truly returned at all.
Is that when you became a grave singer?
I thought soothing the suffering of others would somehow appease my own. Then you came along and gave me a choice. I could either sing at people's graves or fight for a chance to keep them alive.
I'm glad you chose the latter. You mentioned you've been teaching yourself how to read?
Yes. Gaia was kind enough to put together a list of glyphs used by the Old Ones. She helped me decipher some of the data you've collected and showed me how to use the focus to help the process. It's not easy, but it's been working so far.
That's good to hear. So you've been talking to Gaia?
Yes. She was kind enough to take me through some of the history of the Old Ones, including their demise and the heroic actions of her creator, Elizabeth Sobek. I was surprised to see she was you. Past, but reborn? Not that I claim to understand how.
I need to go, but if you need anything, you can contact me through your focus.
I'll keep that in mind. There it is. Unbelievable. I wonder.
Looks like an office.
Correct. The facility was designed with a number of private offices.
fingers feel stiff in this cold. Heard they'd set up outposts in the area. If I leave them be, they'll cause nothing but trouble. I should lie low, find whoever's in charge, and take them out. Maybe then the rest will leave.
You've made a huge mistake. Invader!
finish him! Get after her! Using a rope! Get her down from there!
I'd heard I'd find them here. Getting rid of their leader might cause the rest to leave.
I heard that!
That soldier with the heavy weapon. That has to be the one in charge.
I guess we scared them all. Is the Outlander hiding out there? I have to come. Hey!
Rebel outpost. I was told there'd be one here. I should find their leader. Put an end to this.
I'll be ready when the battle cries.
Hey, over there. Over here!
Another rebel outpost. I was told I'd find one here. If I take out their leader, maybe the rest will retreat. get rid of them is to take out their leader.
There! Stop there! We have an intruder!
Machines in here. Cool, right then, set them free. Stir up some trouble.
I can see her! There! Firing now! Hope that hurt!
Another rebel outpost. I was told I'd find one here. I should take out the leader. Machines in here. I could override them, set them free, stir up some trouble.
You had me there.
There's no one. Call it off.
What's that?
sign of anyone here. Sorry. You're my Christmas. Here! Rebellion!
Attack!
I heard they were in the area. The best way to get rid of them is to take out their leader.
There. Tell me what you're doing. Give me back up!
She is! Run before I find you!
It's done. I should check the body. I found something useful. Let's see what I can do with this! These look like identification tags. I've seen Tenok soldiers carry them, but never this many. These must have looted them from soldiers they killed. I'll keep them safe for now. Figure out what to do with them later. Without a leader, the rebels should abandon this place. But I could always deal with them now. Either way, I'm done here.
Get to her! You hear that alarm?
Target the...
You hit her!
Track her!
Machines in here. I could override them and set them free. Stir up some trouble. The ballista might give me some extra firepower. useful if I run into trouble. Toro, shall we? Wonder what it's for.
that right?
Stay on her! Take that thing like a better!
stranger. You're the Outlander who stood against Regala and her rebels.
Only if it means we're good here.
Don't worry. I'm not here to drink your blood, or whatever you Easterners think we do. The slaughter at the embassy wasn't your fight, yet you stood by the marshals. As far as I'm concerned, you're no enemy of the Tenakth. But you are going to need help if you plan on surviving the Clanlands. I hear and see many things as a scout. I could share them with you, aid you on your journey.
I'd be grateful.
Well, you should know the rebels have been busy. They've set up outposts to the west. Some settled into a camp southwest of here. And I know the marshals can't deal with all of them, so I'd stay alert out there if I were you.
Thanks for the warning. One of those outposts might stop the rebels from killing more of their own. Maybe I can lend the marshals a hand.
Look at my wares, or you won't know what you've missed.
More rebels. I'd heard I'd find them here. Getting rid of their leader might cause the rest to leave. I don't know what they used all these machines for. Getting quiet with the rain.
The Outlander's here! She's escaping! Don't let her get away!
Rebels. I heard they were in the area. Best way to get rid of them is to take out their leader. one's got tags on them too.
He's in retreat! It's that Outlander! Hit him! Target her! Don't lose her! I'm coming! Give up your blade or pay the price! Alarm! Alarm! Chase her down!
Seasonal soldiers coming up. Soldiers they killed. I'll keep them safe. Figure out what to do with them later. As I'm done here, let's hope the levels of enemies house. I can take care of them right away. step.
Not one more step. The Tenakth don't suffer outlanders in the Clanlands.
I was given rite of passage by Marshal Fashav. I'm not here to fight.
Hair like blood. This is the warrior who defeated Gruda, champion of the traitor Regala. Her life is not ours to take. You may enter, but mind our ways. You will be watched.
I'll keep that in mind. Sundown. Stars will be out soon.
I don't need a chaplain telling me what battles to fight. The real battle is arguing with you.
Outlander, I offer you an honor.
Look, we don't get those hearts, we don't get water, and everyone dies. I'm going back to the pens. I'll gut those...
So machines did this?
An Easterner with a hair like blood. You killed Greta. Regala's...
It's Aloy, and I'm not...
Maybe I could use some trouble right about now. Out there is a big herd my people harbor. We take the machines' hearts, send them to our capital. It gets harder every year. Killer machines keep showing up to defend the... Last one hit us right as we were penning up our prey. Nearly one. But our quarry is still in the pen, which means if I can get their hearts, we can trade for the water.
If you go out there alone, you'll probably wind...
I'm not going alone, Chaplain. The great champion.
How about you answer some questions? What can you tell me about the...
Been there for years. We harvest the parts we need from it. No more. New machines always show up to replace our kills.
What about the killer machines you mentioned?
They guard the herd. The more we take out, the more arrive. First Sawtooths, then Ravagers. Now, sandblasted Thunderjaw. Hit us right as we were herding machines into our pens. Had to leave half my hunters behind to fend it off. The only survivors are the ones you see here.
You mentioned the capital.
There's no giving. We pay tribute for it with machine parts. Parts, every other desert village has some resource, but the capital of Scalding Spear is the only one with a constant supply. Here in Dry Country, it's the same as holding everyone's lives in their...
It is the way of the desert. How we've always...
Doesn't sound like you like this commander you...
Survival in the desert requires a more disciplined approach than that of...
Means she really likes her rules and order.
But you don't.
I just don't like her.
This is insubordinate.
I must be dehydrated.
I heard him calling you chaplain. What does that mean?
It means I've survived our youth and outlived my brother. As such, I counsel the Desert Clan. Those who reach my age are meant to share our wisdom and keep them on the true warrior's path when their stubbornness kicks up dust.
You knew Regala's champ.
He was one of ours. So was Regala.
Why is she attacking her own?
She feels Regala was a legend among our clan. Fearless, a marshal to Hekarro, chief of all Tenakth.
What chain?
The Karja king asked for peace, and Hekarro agreed. Regala wanted payment in kind for the atrocities the Karja committed, a Tenakth empire that would push into the east. So she challenged Hekarro. He had no choice but to face her in combat.
Hekarro won. She should have died by his hand then, but the chief let her leave for Tenakth. That kind of mercy is a bitter drink.
Now that she rides machines, and we might not be able to ignore her camps in the desert for much longer.
No one in the desert plans touching those camps. This is between Regala. If the chief's strong enough to lead, he'll prevail. If he doesn't, he'll make way for one.
It's a little harsh.
So's the desert.
I'll help you harvest those pen machines. Probably better if you don't do it on your own. Seems like your village needs you right now.
I like her.
An outlander after my own heart. We can leave now, or I can meet you at our outpost southeast.
I'll go with you.
Very well. We leave for the southeast.
May the Ten protect you then.
You do that. This way. The sooner we get those machine hearts...
faster we'll get the water we need. Can't believe an Outlander would lend us a hand when our own clan won't. And Jataka has the stones to tell me the commander has good reason to be strict with our water supply.
You think she doesn't?
I think she's always talking about how scarce water is in the desert. Do you really think anyone in Scalding Spear is dying of thirst? Or her own squad? No. I bet they dip their hand in the trough whenever they want. Our clan should be led by someone who knows what it's like to scrape by. To fight, tooth and nail to survive.
And I'm guessing that someone is you?
I've lived in the fringes of the desert my entire life. I've fought for every single mouthful of water I've ever had. I know I'm a better fighter. And I'm prettier.
Uh-huh.
I'd make sure everyone gets all the water they need, no matter what village they're from.
Didn't Jataka say you guys have too many to go around together?
I'm sure I'll be able to fix that somehow. Always a way.
I guess that's a good way to look at things.
Looks like we got a fight on our hands. There it is. Gotta get some more ammo. Follow me. Our soldiers need to place prepare themselves before herding machines into the canyon. You're welcome to any supplies you can find. I need it.
Thanks.
There we go. Let's move out. So, what's the Nora looking for out in the Forbidden West?
He says I'm looking for something.
I'll wait for you here then, yeah? Here I thought you'd abandoned me.
We still have machine parts to harvest.
You were saying something before you left?
He says I'm looking for something.
Yeah, you traveled all the way out here just for the scenery.
I'm trying to fix something.
I see. Alright, you can keep your secrets. Guess I should just be thankful you decide my problems are worth fixing too.
We're here.
I'll help you harvest machine hearts if it'll get water for your people.
Oh, we will. That's the canyon we draw machines into. And we block them in, and pick them off. Now, we'll have to climb over the barricade to get in. When we do, be ready to fight. I already lost good people in there. Can't wait to see the champion killer in action. You go and I'll follow. Hold on to any hearts you lose and I'll take them from you later.
could live with acid.
like I made that for you.
There is nothing to be done.
What's going on here?
You're the one who spoke before the chorus.
This is not your concern, Outlander. Have we not...
I think you can handle one. What is it?
My wife, Kalai. She went up to the promontory to perform the rite of discovery. Must have fallen, and now they are abandoning this.
We have done. Search party found nothing but her instrument broken.
And atop the promontory was only the dye she used. We will not ask more of our people to risk lives because of what...
But the seeds she carried deserve to be planted, and... I heard how you helped Belengot, Ray. How you saw what... Please, will you look for...
False hope is a creep.
How was Kalai chosen to join the chorus?
The chorus chooses its own. But they can't do... They must listen to... Kalai was a growing voice for new ideas, and her beliefs were catching...
We cannot deafen ourselves to dissonance. Unpleasant though it...
So you had to admit Kalai, or risk legitimizing her ideas even more.
The Outlander catches on.
The rite of discovery.
It's a pilgrimage to the promontory. The place where the... Kalai was to follow the path our ancestors took. Mark her eyes with... and then play her song while overlooking the... She then would have added her mark on the promontory, joining the marks of the... every new chorus. But because of the derangement, the practice has been abandoned. No one's done it for years.
Then why did she do it?
We all urged her not to, but...
She thought it would lend strength to her point of view. She needed to prove that she respected the old ways, even then maybe more.
What were Kalai's political...
Radical.
Plainsong is dying. The Kalai is the wind carries. She proposed that the Utara leave.
We are... But you're not...
It doesn't...
Kalai was carrying...
Every Utara. We choose the seeds added taken from the plants of our forebears, and when one passes, their seeds are returned so that life may spring. Which is why I want Kalai's pouch. Her seeds just...
The river will carry the seeds to new soil.
But they won't be at home.
It's the best we can hope.
If I'm not that way, I can...
Thank you. Look for the broken bridge at the bottom of the cliffs. That's where the search party found.
Okay. That all right with you?
How you waste your time is not...
Searching for what the land has already reclaimed.
What's going on here?
We're speaking about something...
Yul, I remind... I apologize. My people used to be friendlier, but hunger robs many of them. Seems like there's a... As Yul said, so much so that would be... But it's a clock to tell about with... Tell me everything you know about the machine that attacked your hunt. It fell upon them near the edge of the... One of them then survived and made it back. If you wish to question him, he's recovered. The other 4 hunters, it must be a powerful beast. I've handled tough. Good. The old growth one more. Every Utaru wears a small pouch of seeds. It is how we remember our loved one. It would mean a great deal to the hunt. I'll do what I can. I know you will. Before I head for the old growth, I might want to talk to the surgeon. See what he can... Tell me about the Claw Strider. Going down!